Joining me right now is former Congressman, Hold Texas, Hold the Nation, Victory or Death, author and retired Lieutenant Colonel Allen West. Colonel, it's great to see you this morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good to be with you, Maria. Thank you.
So what about this? The president says he's going to veto it, but it looks like it's going to be a pretty good backlash on his emergency declaration.
Well, it's interesting that you have people that are supposedly our representatives in Washington, D.C. that don't understand that the most important thing about living in a constitutional republic is the protection of your sovereign borders and your boundaries. When you go down along the border, and a couple of years ago I did a motorcycle ride down through the Big Bend sector on the border here in Texas, and you could clearly see that there are vast open sectors that are not controlled by our Border Patrol, and that's why you need some type of obstacle that can funnel people into areas where our Border Patrol can better control that access and entry.
Congressman, there are some Republicans, about 22% in the most recent NBC Wall Street Journal poll, who have said that they oppose the president taking the action through a national emergency declaration, that they think it's maybe too much of an abuse of executive power. What would you say to those who say had those same concerns during President Obama's administration?
Well, this is not an abuse of presidential power. The president takes an oath, and he's supposed to defend the American people. I'll give you a case in point in a comparative analysis. Back when President Obama was there, he declared that there's a humanitarian crisis and an emergency in Libya, and we outsourced our military to Islamic jihadists, and look how that ended up. So when President Obama stood there and gave a State of the Union address and said that I have a pen and a phone and I'm willing to do whatever it takes, and that was for his own ideological agenda. This is about the safety and security of Americans. And I think that President Trump, once again, needs to tell all of these people that want to vote against this border security measure and him using these funds, think about these angel moms, think about these angel families that have lost their loved ones because we're not doing our job.
Congressman, it's Dagan McDowell. He did highlight that during the State of the Union message, even. But I think that people with the emergency declaration, particularly conservatives, why did you wait to do it after shutting the government down? That's what didn't. If you were going to do it, you should have done it early on rather than shutting the government down for as long as it was closed.
Well, Dagan, I absolutely agree with you, and I will tell you that I believe a tactical error was to sit there with Senator Schumer and Speaker Pelosi and say that I'm willing to shut the government down. I don't think that that was a good move for the president, and that kind of put him behind an 8-ball. He should have gone ahead and taken this action to say that this is important, this is what the American people want, and this is what we're going to do to make it happen.
Congressman Mitch Rochelle, if you just think about this issue and how it plays out in the primaries that the Democrats are going to have, are they going to most likely weaponize this issue and make it a big talking point? Because it's really a problem of their making in their inability to just get along with the president on anything from a policy perspective.
Without a doubt, they're going to try. But, Mitch, I think this is a very bad issue for the other side. As a matter of fact, this just comes down to Americans versus illegals and whose side do you stand upon. You know, last week you had H.R. 8 that was brought to the floors about all these background security checks and what have you. And the Republicans brought up a motion to recommit that talked about how someone that is an illegal immigrant that tries to purchase a weapon should be reported to ICE. You had Democrats that voted against that. So in other words, they think that an illegal immigrant should be able to purchase a firearm and not get reported to ICE. They're on the wrong side of the issue, and I don't think they really want to bring it up as we head into 2020.
So here we are 20 months away from the next presidential election in 2020. A new poll shows that the president's approval rating is actually climbing. According to the Journal NBC News poll released yesterday, it's at 46%. Colonel West, your reaction to this?
Well, I think the president is like, a large, massive elephant on the Serengeti plains, and he knows that every day, every other animal out there is going to be chasing after him. And so for him to have a 46% approval rating when every day he's constantly berated, barraged, disparaged, demeaned, and denigrated, this is absolutely incredible. And I think the American people are starting to see through that, and they understand that their lives are better.
John Hickenlooper threw his hat in the ring today. Is there anyone on the Democratic side that you think is more poised than others to take on the president in a real way?
Well, I think that the Democrat Party is all about the identity politics, and they look at how many boxes can they check off. And that's why I believe that Senator Harris right now is the person that they want to have on that stage to go against President Trump, because they need to re-energize the black vote, which they lost because Hillary Clinton did not connect. But I also think that Representative Robert Francis O'Rourke, he may end up being on the ticket, maybe as the vice president, because they want to try to put Texas in play.
All right, we will leave it there. Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, good to see you this morning. Thanks so much.